10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What's up, everybody? It's Brandon of Box Office Banner and Cult Flick Symposium. I'm here to talk some more John Wick. That's right, John Wick Chapter 3. Now, this is a fun one. I've never heard anybody say a bad thing about this movie, but then again, I haven't heard a bad thing said about any John Wick movie. That is, if you're an action fan. Obviously, if you're a girl that's into romance movies, you're probably not going to get into this. Maybe then you might, but you do not hear many naysayers. But I will say I always see this one at the bottom of the list, it seems like, when they're talking about out of the three. Again, not to say it's bad, not to say it's not even great. Hear people rain praise on this movie. For me, I agree. This is my least favorite one, but I do really enjoy it. This one, on rewatch, this is what I was curious about. I think I might like this one as much as the first one now, and maybe a little more. The first one, I think objectively is a better movie. It's the one that started it all. But again, that rewatch value of what we come to John Wick for, what we want to see on rewatch ability, that factor. I think this one ages better for me for that reason. Again, this one also, like the first one, gets held back because there's a lot of moments, again, where they're hitting them singles and doubles and triples, but not home runs. I think the biggest thing I can harp on in this one is the ending. Although like 75% of it, pretty fucking awesome. Again, the set pieces are better. There's like more extravagant thing. Again, less grounded, but in this series that works. It just makes it better. They continue with that. They piggyback off of 2. They expand a couple more things. R.I.P. to, I hate to mess up his fucking name, Lance Reddick. I believe that's his name. I wanted to save that for this one because this man, I mean, he just, for somebody that doesn't have a whole lot of scenes, he still somehow feels like such a main presence. He is that welcoming feeling to John Wick as he is when he's at the fucking Continental. Just, like, how are you doing, Mr. Wick? And I wanted to save it for this one because in this movie, man, he gets to fuck people up. And that was really fucking cool to see. Love his character. R.I.P. to him. Very talented actor. I know they already are, putting the fourth one out there for him, dedicating it to him, and as they should. Really sucks we lost him. Very good actor. As far as characters go, everybody's good. The adjudicator, I think is how you say the word. Watch me fuck that up too. If you don't know by now, I'm the type of guy, it almost could seem like lazy, but when I watch a movie, even if I've seen it before a million times, I don't necessarily study. It just depends. Like sometimes I feel the need to, other times I feel the need to do knee-jerk reaction. That's even like something I've used on this channel. I've called knee-jerk reaction reviews, like when I get fresh out of a movie. Like you can go in, you can dive in, read every little detail, but is that truly, like, you can almost manipulate yourself. I like to just go off the cuff and just fly in, but you know who I'm talking about, people. So that's a little tidbit. But one thing with this movie that bothers me is, are the martial artists too good? I know that sounds crazy because like I'm already experiencing this to some degree with Scott Adkins, although Scott Adkins might be slowed down as he's in a fat suit anyways, right? That's a weird decision, but that's a story for another time. But you got Donnie Yen coming in. How badass is Donnie Yen? Are we going to have the same problem here? And that problem, people, at least for me, is you got the 2 main bad guys from 2 of the greatest martial arts movies ever made. You've never seen them. The Raid 1, Raid 2. They run circles around these movies. That's how good they are. And the main bad guy in the first Raid movie is one of Mark Dacascos, another great martial artist. He's the main bad guy in this movie. Like his henchmen, if you will, his right-hand men, if you will. Those guys that he fights, at the end when he fights them, and like, the scene where he's throwing everybody through glass and shit, and then right before he meets Mark Dacascos, the main villain's character, for that final fucking battle, he comes into it with the 2, main bad motherfuckers that Mark Dacascos has. And those guys, that's the guy from Raid 1, and that's the guy from Raid 2, and they are 2 of the baddest motherfuckers, like, in martial arts. Like, you just believe that they are fucking, like, you can't touch them. That's what it feels like. Now, John Wick in this world is untouchable, But on natural talent, you know, where what makes John Wick work so well is like the believability. I believe he could do that. When he runs into these guys, that for the first time goes away. Because I think it was a poor creative choice by Stahelski to have him go 1-on-2. Like, it's already gonna be hard going 1-on-1 to look like he's competent enough to fight these motherfuckers. But have him go 1-on-2, it really is glaring out of every fight scene, every action scene, out of every scene that's been recorded in this franchise, where I've been like, I feel like Keanu's like slowing down right now. Like he's just almost like he's got to pull punches. It feels awkward to me. I don't know if that has that effect on somebody that doesn't know who these two are, but for somebody that knows them through and through and knows how badass they are, it feels clunky and it bothers me. As I'm like, God, imagine if they could get this right somehow. And going 2-on-1 is not the way. His fight with Dacascos, I saw a bit of that, but the fact that it was 1-on-1, it hid a little bit of that. So enjoyed the Dacascos fight, but it really makes me like irk, like just knowing who those guys are when I'm watching it, and it takes away from the ending a little bit for me. And I'm really worried that maybe Donnie Yen might feel like I'm watching Donnie Yen slow down, or fucking I'm watching Keanu like try to keep up. Like, I don't want to feel like that when I'm watching these movies. So maybe in a weird way, getting bigger names that are elite of the elites is not who Keanu Reeves should be fighting. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's a weird thing to say, but I feel like it makes sense if you know what I'm talking about and you know these guys. Other thing that really bothered me with their fight scene was I hated the respect factor. Like, I loved it, like, with Dacascos, because it kind of came out of, like, left field, you know. When they sat down, they got to the Continental, and he's like, I've been a big fan. I was like, what the fuck? This is kind of, like, what makes these movies cool. But knowing the stone cold killers that we know those guys are from the fucking Raid, again, it was hard to fucking, like, detach that. Like, I wanted these guys when I was watching this. I guess, when you see them, it's like, oh, dude, it's going to be badass when they start brawling. Like, that's your initial reaction. Then you're like, dude, they're so cutthroat. They'd be perfect for this role. So to see them slow down and then to see them like, Mr. Rick, you need to help up? Like, you need to help up. Like, what do you know? Dude, you're supposed to be cutthroat. So a lot of it's my own expectations, but that really holds the movie back for me. And it's not even that it's like a negative. It's like the potential of what it could have been. Those things weigh on me. And honestly, that's about it. That, like, as far as like negatives, and even then it's not really a negative, there's little things like Halle Berry in this movie. She's fine. There's nothing wrong with her. The adjudicator, she's fine. There's nothing wrong with her, but they're not overly special to me. I love the dogs in this movie. I thought that was really fucking cool. I mean, why not? John Wick, right? Like, winning fucking Rome, winning the Continental, whatever you want to call it. Just to see, it's always been about the dog love from the beginning. That's become like a staple within this franchise. And to now have like these attack dogs that are just whooping ass alongside, why not? What a great decision. Again, cool set pieces, the way they had the fucking motorcycle game with the samurai swords. You basically, before all the glass started shattering at the end, you had these fucking juggernaut type people because they had all this full-on body armor. You had to shoot them like 50 times and in certain spots to kill them. Great creativity again. Great choreography again. I mean, I don't know. Like, everything really worked here. It was not some like huge step down. It was to me just because of how much I adore the second one. But you know what I mean? But the quality, it's not like it fell off. Everything was really on point here. Enough for me to want another one, for sure. But again, I worry. Are we going to start getting these bigger name martial artists? And is it going to kind of expose and kind of take away from that realistic factor that is John Wick and Keanu Reeves in some weird way? I don't know. Maybe I'm the only person that's having this epiphany. Let me know if you have too. But that is something that I fear going forward. That initial knee-jerk reaction is, oh yeah, keep getting the best martial artists in the movies. But then you see it and you're like, oh shit, like I know what he's capable of, and he's not doing what I know he's capable of. Is it because Keanu Reeves can't keep up? I don't want to feel like that. I want to feel like Keanu Reeves is John Wick. I'm not even watching John Wick. I'm watching Keanu Reeves fuck people up. It's a different vibe with these movies. I don't want that vibe to be tampered with, so they've got to find a balance. And you know what? Maybe I don't even have to. Maybe I'm the only person fucking noticing this thing. But again, that'd be like my one nitpick. This movie is solid as fuck. I'm going to give it the same score as the first one, 7.8 out of 10. Not quite great to me, but again, objectively great. There's a difference between objective and subjective, and this is another solid outing. I'm hoping the fourth one will give me like those 2 vibes where I was just, through the moon. But damn, I can still watch 1 and 3 all the fucking time. They'll never fall out of rotation. Such an easy movies to just put on and have a blast with. Gotta love some John Wick. Here comes number 4, man. Oh my God. Hopefully next time I see y'all, I am not disappointed. It's impossible, right? It's at least going to be good. But again, I want that fucking home run. Love you guys. John Wick.